Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me for Hair Tip Tuesday. I'm excited to speak to you all about today's topic. Just a brief FYI, I am currently going live in my personal page, or on my personal page, China Wilson, as well as Lavish Crown page and Instagram page. So I have a few devices in front of me. So if you see my eyes moving around, that means I'm trying to make contact or eye contact with, everyone, all of my audience. So thank you so much for joining me this evening on this Hair Tip Tuesday. So this evening we are going to talk about holding on to your edges. So ladies, it's important, make sure you're listening to, the tips I'm going to share with you today, because it can definitely be helpful and save you some embarrassment, because unfortunately we lose our edges. We try everything that we possibly can to hide that hair loss, and it can be embarrassing for us. So I am definitely going to share some tips with you today on how you can avoid losing your edges and maintain, and restore them if you have lost them to some degree. So again, my name is China Wilson, and I am your Lavish Crown CEO and hair care formulator. I help women with all hair types by formulating natural hair care products that help restore your hair back to its full glory. Okay, so I've earned my diploma in hair care formulation from the School of Natural Skincare Formulation International, and I've been formulating hair care products or natural hair care products for about 3 years now. And I'm giving you hair care tips based on my research and my experience with my hair over the years, and feedback from customers who have purchased my products and have used them. So just bear with me. I am, again, as I said, I am looking at 3 different platforms here, and I definitely want to make sure that I am making eye contact with you all, and then I will answer any questions that you all may have as they pop up on my screen. So again, today we're going to talk about how to hold on to those edges, okay, while you're wearing those protective styles, or even if you're just wearing your natural hair out. It's definitely important when you're wearing the protective styles. So how do you avoid losing your edges? First, let's talk about some of the reasons why we lose our edges. We can lose our edges for a number of reasons if we have too much tension on them. So what that is called, when you lose your hair around your edges, is called traction alopecia. So that's a new term to me, and I'm sure that's a new term to you. So what traction alopecia is, again, it's a form of non-scarring, reversible, keyword reversible hair loss that affects the frontal hairline. So we're talking about your edges, lady, your frontal hairline. And it is a result of wearing tight braids, weaves, or extensions, tight ponytails, wigs that are applied with adhesive, gels, and even the edge control that we utilize to slick our edges down, because we want those baby hairs nice and laid. I'm not a fan of baby hairs, but ladies, be careful when you're using that edge control, because it can contribute to the hair loss around your hairline, okay? So if you're going to use a edge control, since we like to use that to lay down our edges and make sure they're nice and neat and smooth, you want to make sure that you're using one that has some nourishing benefits. So when you're choosing an edge control, make sure that you're checking out those ingredients. Make sure you're choosing something that doesn't have alcohol in it, because alcohol can dry your hair, okay? So the thinning around your edges can be subtle to moderate. It is very noticeable. I mean, I'm sure you notice, women that wear the tight braids or wear braids quite often, their hairline now begins somewhere back here, somewhere back here, at least an inch or so from their forehead. That's not normal, okay? So again, it is noticeable, and it can be difficult to cover up. However, hope is not lost because you can do something about your thinning edges. So how do we stop those thinning edges or those edges from thinning? First, you want to take a break from the hairstyles, from the protective hairstyles, from, every once in a while. Last week, I talked about protective hairstyles and how long you should wear them. You shouldn't have them any longer than 8 weeks because that can cause hair breakage and hair damage, okay? So you want to take a break from the hairstyles that place tension on your scalp and that causes hair loss. So again, give those braids, weaves, adhesive applied wigs, give them all a break for a while. Also, another thing that contributes to the hair loss around your edges is brushing your edges too much. So I notice when women apply edge control or some type of control to lay those baby hairs, they're using those little brushes, using those edge brushes to lay those baby hairs, and those edges unfortunately can cause more damage than good. So you definitely want to avoid, using brushes along your hairline too much. Last week I talked about, physical manipulation of your hair and how too much of it, can contribute to the hair loss. So even brushing those edges, is also a contributing factor. So you want to, again, as I stated, consider wearing your hair out. Loose ponytails, loose buns, or any type of low manipulating styles that don't pull at your hair or don't pull your hair too tight, and that will lessen the stress and tension around your edges, okay? So another tip is wrap your hair at night with a silk or satin scarf, a bonnet, or you can even sleep, if you don't like sleeping with a scarf or a bonnet, you can opt to sleep, with a silk or satin pillowcase, because this will reduce the friction on your hair. Also, last week, one of the tips we talked about, and it also is very important, especially around your edges, is avoid the dirt and product buildup, or dirt and product can build up around your scalp, on your hair and on your scalp. I apologize if you hear some barking or growling in the background. My dog is deciding he wants to act up a little bit. So bear with me one moment, okay, with that. So again, as I was stating, dirt and product can build up on your hair. So make sure you are washing your hair and cleansing your scalp on a routine, regular basis. I recommend using some type of detoxifying shampoo at least once a month to remove the buildup from your hair and the sebum that we talked about that builds up on your scalp. So you want to definitely incorporate a detoxifying shampoo into your shampoo routine, your shampoo regimen. You also want to stimulate and moisturize your hairline as well. Last week we talked about the protective styles and focusing on your hair, moisturizing your hair and your scalp. You want to also make sure that you're stimulating and moisturizing your hairline. You can do that by massaging your hairline when you're applying your hair oils. I recommend using a hair oil that promotes healthy hair growth. Lavish Crown has a hair and scalp serum that does just that. So if you want to use a hair and scalp serum, you can apply the dropper or take the dropper and apply a few drops to your edges and rub that in. About 3 minutes or so is what I recommend to help stimulate that blood flow to those areas. So Lavish Crowns hair and scalp serum is all natural, and it is formulated to promote healthy hair growth, okay? It is light on your hair, and it won't it won't clog your pores, okay? So what you want to do is you want to stay away from petroleum-based products because they are moisture resistant. For example, Vaseline is actually moisture resistant versus, adding that moisture that you think it would, it's designed to do. And it also clogs your pores. So you definitely want to be careful of that if you're using some type of petroleum-based product. if your protective style, so when you go to the hair salon, braid salon, wherever you decide to get your hair done, if your protective style is applied too tight, don't be afraid to let your stylist know. I've had that nightmare in the past, and I even suffered. But now, lesson learned, lesson learned, lesson learned. Don't be afraid to let your stylist know that your style, your braids, your install is too tight. It should never hurt or leave your scalp feeling irritated, tender, anything of that nature. So open your mouths, ladies. Lesson learned again on my part. Let your stylist know. Okay, so if you're losing your edges, you may want to consider not using heat on your hair. Since your edges are the most fragile, most fragile on your hair, heating tools or any type of styling tool that emits heat can potentially fry your hair, okay, and damage those follicles. So again, take a break from the heat if you're losing your edges and you want to grow those edges back, okay? So another thing you want to do is be patient. Growing back your edges takes time. It is a process. And if you follow some of these tips that I provided, you can regrow your hair. So I see someone that has a question on Instagram. So I'm sorry, let me see. I'm looking at Instagram from my phone. So someone asked me, do you mind repeating some of the points you shared at the beginning of your live? I most certainly can. Was there a specific point that you needed me to point out? Let's see. Let me just go back through my notes. Some of the things I talked about was, the wearing the braids too tight, the ponytail, the weaves that are installed with adhesive, even gels, because some of the gels contain alcohol, and edge control can cause issues or hair loss around the edges. I also mentioned, using a detoxifying shampoo because it gets some of that sebum that builds up on your scalp over time, as well as the hair product. Believe it or not, the products that you use, even some of the shampoos that you use, conditioners that you use, can leave product buildup. So you want to make sure you're detoxifying those hair follicles as well as your scalp, at least once a month. Okay, so make sure you're incorporating some type of detoxifying shampoo into your hair regimen. I also mentioned, wearing a satin or silk scarf to sleep in because it reduces the friction that is applied to your hair. Also, when you're sleeping with a cotton pillow, the cotton pillows can absorb, the oils. So typically when I use my Lavish Crown hair and scalp serum, I apply it in the morning, okay? Because if you apply it at night, that product is going to be on your pillow. And I've seen it, oily pillows. So you definitely want to use that product, in the morning or as you're styling your hair. Okay, so let's see if we have any more questions. So someone on Instagram mentioned something about thinning hair. It wasn't in relation to the weaves because I don't wear them. Let me see. I talked about, just using products that promote healthy hair growth, that promote healthy hair follicles, keeps your scalp healthy and nourished. Let's see. And again, I mentioned about wearing any type of style too tight, even if you're not wearing weaves or braids or anything like that. If you're a ponytail wearer, even that, pulling that ponytail too tight can cause tension on your hair and around your edges and cause your hair to break if your edges aren't moisturized. Now, again, as I stated, you have to be patient when growing back your edges because they can take time. So if you're following these simple steps, you can grow your hair back. Now, I do have some bad news about growing your hair or your edges back. And it's regarding the hair follicles, okay? When your hair follicles are damaged, there's still hope. You can grow your hair back. However, if your hair follicles are dead, they do not grow back. If your hair follicles are dead, at that point, any product that you try, unfortunately, will not work, and you will likely have to seek some type of medical treatment in order to grow your hair back. So again, as long as your hair follicle is still intact, your hair can grow back with proper care. So hair follicles typically grow back within 1 to 2 months. And however, if the hair follicles are damaged, it can take up to 4 years until they actually grow back. So that's why it's important to pay attention to those edges and maintain, that proper care, making sure your scalp is clean, your hair is moisturized, okay? Because again, as I stated, if the hair follicle dies, unfortunately, there's no product on the shelf that will help you regrow your hair, okay? So last week, I also mentioned that I am adding a new product to the Lavish Crown hair care line, and that new product is our Edge Rejuvenator. So yes, ladies, I have something out there for you that will help you maintain and or restore your edges. So it is an all-natural edge pomade that is formulated to combat hair loss and promote your hair growth. And it will help you restore and again maintain your edges. So next week's live, next Tuesday, I'm going to do a formulation demonstration where you will get, an opportunity to actually see me make the Edge Rejuvenator. And I'll go into a little more detail about the ingredients and the benefits of those ingredients that are included in that Edge Rejuvenator. So does anyone have any questions for me regarding maintaining your edges and what you need to do to assist you with making sure that your edges stay healthy? Okay, so right now I'm going to have a special guest join me. This young lady is one of my Lavish Crown ladies. So that's what we call you when you have purchased Lavish Crown and you are using our Lavish Crown products. You officially become a Lavish Crown lady, okay? So Miss Clarice, if you can give me one moment, I'm going to have you come on in. This is my first time inviting someone into my live, so let's get this going. Let's see. Add to stream. That's simple. So I can see you. Can you see me okay? Now, unfortunately, my Instagram livers, you can, I am going to have to exit the live for Instagram. So really quick, I want to thank you all for joining me. Let me mute this so there won't be any feedback. Give me one moment. So I want to thank you all for joining me. If you have any questions about what I talked about this evening, you can email me at support@getlavishcrown.com. You can find us on Instagram at get_lavish_crown. You can also find us on Facebook at Lavish Crown. For tuning in this evening, I thank you. And as a thank you, you can go to my website, the Lavish Crown website, which is getlavishcrown.com. Enter the code THANK-YOU10 and you will get 10% off your order just for tuning in. So again, if you have any questions regarding this Hair Tip Tuesday or any of our products, you can email me at support@getlavishcrown.com. Thank you again for joining me, and you all have a good evening.